Hi, everyone. I'm Phyllis Wong from the Department of Social Work, the Chinese University of Hong Kong. First of all, I would like to wish all of you to stay healthy and well under the COVID-19 pandemic. It's my pleasure to have this opportunity to present my study at the IC 2020. My presentation topic is a culturally tailored personal self-determination enhancement intervention for people with mild ID and their caregivers in Hong Kong, a randomized controlled trial. Here is the background of my study. Self-determination is an intrinsic need in all human beings. Its importance is universal across different cultures, though the ways of satisfying it may vary. In the past 2 decades, the construct of SD has developed extensively in the international intellectual disability field. However, very little research has been done in Chinese societies. The findings of my previous study suggest that self-determination competency positively correlate with personal well-being, and adults with mild ID in Hong Kong. And some participants tried to find an equilibrium between them and significant others in the decision-making process. Even though self-determination is regarded as an adult outcome for people with ID, students with ID in Western countries learn SD knowledge and skills through the systematic curriculum in schools. However, the curriculum for adults with ID is still underdeveloped in the West. In Hong Kong, the SD curriculum is rarely available in any setting. In view of this, I made a proposal and submitted to the Research Grants Council of Hong Kong. And fortunately, I got the grant in this year. And then I started my project with the objective that aims to develop a culturally tailored self-determination enhancement group intervention for adults with ID, and also to evaluate its effectiveness. In my study, I adopted the definition of self-determination proposed by Miguel, 2003. He says that self-determined people are effective regulators in the process of goal pursuit. In other words, a self-determined person is one who knows what he wants in daily life and or in major life events, and can get goals and achieve it by ongoing review and regulations. And these regulations involve the adjustment. The adjustment can be in self-regulation or in environmental changes. The self-determination process involves elements of self-understanding, personal preference, goal setting and attainment, choice-making, decision-making, self-management and self-regulations, and so on. The methodologies. I divided into the research plan into 2 phases. The first one, the phase 1, is development of the protocol and pilot study for the group interventions. The duration is 8 months. It includes the panel review, pilot study, and then the finalizing the protocol. Phase 2, with a duration of 18 months. The aim is to examine the effectiveness of the group interventions. It involves randomized control trial design, and the target participants are adults with mild ID in Hong Kong, and they will be randomly assigned into one of the 3 intervention conditions. 3 assessment points are involved. They are pre-test, post-test, and follow-up. Here is the design structure of the phase 2. First of all, we will recruit 120 participants to participate into our project. And then they will be randomly assigned into 3 conditions. The first condition is the enhancement group. It involves 40 participations. Involve the 40 participants. And there is a 5 group. Each group involves 8 group members. So in total, there are 40 participants in this enhancement group. And then another condition is the enhancement plus group. That also involves 40 participants. But involving in these conditions, the participants' parents will also be included in these interventions. They become the parents group. So we call it intervention plus group. And the third condition is a comparison group. The rest, the 40 participants, they will join a leisure activity group. That is no self-determination elements anymore in their leisure groups. And then they become the comparison group to compare the result before and after the group interventions. All of them, they will join the pre-test and then the implementation of the enhancement group and the enhancement plus group or the leisure group. And then complete the group, they will attend the post-test. And 3 months later, you will invite them to join the assessment again to be the follow-up assessment. The intervention group and also the leisure groups attend sessions. And the plus group, that is involve the parents, and the parents will attend 4 another sessions. These 10 sessions is participated by the people with ID and their parents. They will join another group. There is a parents group, totally with 4 sessions. And in these sessions, the parents will learn how to support their children in their goal setting and goal achieving. Instrumentation. Because I need to measure 2 outcomes. The first outcome is the primary outcome. I would like to measure the change of self-determination competency of the participants before and after receiving the group interventions. I will use the IR self-determination scale, the Chinese version, that is validated by me and my colleagues in 2017. For the secondary outcome, I adopt the Personal Wellbeing Index, Intellectual Disability, Cantonese versions. That is validated by the Professor Cummings and Dr. Nao in 2005. And this scale can measure the change of personal well-being of the participant before and after receiving the group interventions. Because my process is still at the phase 1, because it just started a few months ago, and the project progress is still in phase 1. So this presentation, I would like to share with you the experience that I accumulate in the phase 1. That will be interesting. For the phase 1, The main objective is to develop the protocol and also to verify the protocol. And the protocol is include 10 sessions. And the 10 sessions is covering the topics about the knowing yourself, that is a self-understanding, and then setting the personal goal. And then for we will need the group participants to plan their goal, to make the planning to achieving their goal, and then to add out, to implement their planning, to add on their personal goal. But in the process, they may encounter some difficulties, and then they need to review and also to regulate the goal or to regulate the strategies. After the regulations, and then they try to attain or to achieve their goal. And this part is about the equilibrium search. It is an element for the enhancement plus group, because at the plus group, we involve parents into the group interventions. So we want to introduce this element in these conditions and to facilitate the interaction between the participant with ID and their parent, and make them to get an equilibrium or to get the support by the parents in their decision-making process and also the goal pursuing process. In this element, we want to get the parents' support in their children's to pursue their children's goal attainment. For the protocol, I mean, for the group intervention, the content, the session plan of the protocol, I adopt some principles and strategies that's tailor-made for people with ID. The first principle is age appropriateness. Because the participants of my intervention group, all of them are adults. So I required the protocol content, no matter the ideas, the session plan, the strategies, or the POPs, the activities, all of these elements, we must to adopt an age-appropriate concept. That is to reflect that they are adults. We need to respect them. They are adults already. So I will not use the materials that too much childish. I need to use some materials and also the scenario that is reflect their real age. That means the age appropriateness. The second principles are visual strategies. As we know, visual strategies is a very useful and effective way to facilitate people with ID to learn. Here is some examples. This is about the self-understanding activities, a self-portrait. We provide them a lot of pictures. Let them to choose the pictures to reflect their like and dislike, what their preference, what food they like, what activities they like to do, and also their personalities. So they can use these pictures and also they can draw by themselves to reflect what level they understand themselves. We also use some diagram, let them to know when they plan when they when they do a planning for pursue their personal goal, they need some steps. So this diagram is to facilitate them to think about what situation they need to consider and what problems they need to encounter, they will be encountered. So they can, this kind of visual strategies to let them to more visualize what will happen in the front of them when they achieve their goal. This is a flow chart. It is also to facilitate them when they to set a goal, they may to make the goal feasible. So there are three questions. Is it the goal is really they want? And is it within their ability? They can, they have confidence to achieve them, and also the duration. How long they think the goal can be attained? Within 1 month, 3 months, or 1 year? So this kind of flow chart to help them to make the planning step by step. The third principle is very important. It's about real life learning. Because I emphasize that the learning by the people with ID, they need to learn something in the classroom, but they need to transfer their learning into their real life. So I use some real life scenarios to help them to know what is self-determination, what is the choice making, what is the decision making. With this, I designed some videos. That videos will play in the session, in the group sessions, to let the participants to imagine what the real life difficulties they may be encountered during their goal achieving process. What kind of choice they need to make, and how they can seek the support from their significant others. For the stimulating and exciting purpose, I also invite the people with ID to be the actors in video production, because I want to make sure that the real life scenarios is so real for them, for their daily life. That is real encountered by them. And also, if the actors is people with ID, this will make them to be more friendly, and also to let the participants to more tune in into the scenario, and then they can watch to see the scenario, and then after the video play, and they can be more involved, more active to discuss how they solve the scenario that happened in their daily life. I would like to show you some video clips that is produced by our people with IDs. This is so lovely and very cute.
咦，冇嘅，死啦！唔記得帶八通添。我翻屋企拎，我翻工時會遲到嘅喎。我呢個月遲咗1次喎，再遲落去我俾上司鬧喎，點算好咧
？It is about the daily problem they may be easily encountered in their daily life. It's about Agit, the actor in this video, Agit. He forgets to bring the octopus for work. And then when he wants to take a bus for work, he have no autobus and no money to pay the bus fee. So how he can solve these problems? There are 5 options. The first one is coming.
都係即刻跑翻屋企拎，然後翻嚟再搭下一班車。冇咧。
So option 1, to rush back to the home, to take back the autobus, the money valued card for paying the bus fee.
都係打翻電話俾屋企人，叫屋企人攞俾我啦。喂，阿媽，可唔可以幫我攞個八達通同埋銀包俾我啊？
Option 2, to phone to family members, to ask mother to bring the money to him to the bus stop.
定係我打電話翻公司同我上司講我會遲到咧？
Option 3, to phone his supervisor to tell his supervisor that he may be late for work because he need to go back to home to take the money.
喂，老闆啊，我今日可能會遲翻公司喎。一係照樣上巴士先，同個巴士車長講，我唔記得咗帶八達通，問下佢可唔可以下次俾翻咧？車長，我今日唔記得咗帶八達通，可唔可以下次俾翻？定係試下問其他人借？
Option 4 is to get on the bus and negotiate with the bus driver that this time I forgot to get the money and can I pay back next time?
錢俾我搭車咧？唔好意思啊，先生，可唔可以借錢俾我搭巴士啊？我唔記得咗帶八達通啊。
Option 5, to ask other passenger to borrow money to him. Okay, so, and then the question, if Agit was you, and how you to choose? So this kind of video, we will play in the session, in the group sessions, and then after the participants to watch this video, and then they can get the small group discussion on what choice they will choose. So I would like to show you another video clip. This is about the response to mothers. Because we designed some scenarios that the participant may need to ask support from their significant others. And then when the significant others give them different reply and how they respond to this kind of reply. Here is 2 scenarios for facilitate the group members to learn how to make a good response to their significant others.
可以，但係我要準時帶你走，我就帶公司啲嘢喺屋企做，你夜晚同我洗碗好唔好啊？冇問題啊 ，thank you，媽咪。我幫你洗乾淨個碗啦。可以，但係我帶你2、3次嘅啫喎，跟住你自己搭車去嘅喎，得唔得啊？都可以啊，咁我 thank you 媽咪先㗎啦，聽朝到我攞先，聽朝到我就答覆你。
Okay, so we use this kind of video. We would want to make the group process more interactive and more interesting. That way may be called, resulted by the participants will more involved in the group process. So I think you can see from the videos, if the actors is, the video is acted by our PwID, this is so lively and make the things as more lively and more interesting. And I think it is a good means to let us to employ more in our group interventions. Besides the principles, I also designed some activities in the group sessions. They are the case study, role play, small group discussion, home assignment, and report back sessions. All of these is to share a main objective, that is to make the group process more dynamic, more interactions, and also to let them to more involved in the process, and let them to think the problems, or to think to find out the solution by themselves, not instructed by the group leaders or the social workers. We would like to make them to involve into the process, and they will have the talents and potentials to fix out the problems by themselves. I think it is a very empowering process. And after prepare the protocol content and also the policy, and then we'll enter into the panel review sessions. I invite some panel members. They are expert members. The expert panel composes of 3 adults with mild ID, 2 parents, and 2 social workers who have at least 10 years experience working with people with ID. So I separate the review into 2 parts. The first part is a meeting. I meet the 2 parents and 2 social workers to discuss their feedback and their comments on the protocol. And then we gather their valuable comments. That comments can help us to polish and to enhance our protocol content. And the other part, we invite 3 adults with ID to go through our protocol, our group activities, and the POPs, to go through all the materials once. And then we get their feedback, and also we can observe the process, how the activities are suitable for them or not, and how the materials are suitable for them or not. So this picture, you can see our panel member who is my ID to play the warm-up game. And then after the warm-up game, after he playing the one game, I can observe that the game is too difficult for them or too easy to them. And then we can adjust at the final station, at the final stage of our protocol. And here, my colleague to introduce some worksheets, and then to let them to fill in and to see is it the worksheet design is okay, is suitable for them or not. So after collecting their feedback from the panel review, and then we fine-tune the protocol. And now we are at the stage of the pilot study. We invite 6 participants with ID and also their parents to try out our group interventions. And at the moment, we have already completed 6 sessions. There are still 4 sessions left. And so at the moment, I cannot to have any final results of the pilot study. But I think what I shared our experience in the process of the protocol preparation, about the materials preparation, and how we involve our people with ID into the protocol preparations process. It is quite encouraging. And so in conclude, this is a pioneer study in Hong Kong. It's our first time to design group interventions in such scale and in this systematic approach. It is a first attempt in Hong Kong. So I'm very excited to the process of the when the group actually run in next year. But at least at this phase 1, I found there are good initial effects. If we involved people with ID in the process of protocol design, protocol review, and video productions as well. Because I think when we're talking about self-determination, we cannot bypass our persons with ID. So if we involve in them in the whole process, in the every stage of our research design, that will make the interventions more person-centered and more empowering. So here is the end of our the end of my presentations, and you're welcome to exchange with me in the future, and please contact me and to get a more exchange between us about the self-determination of people with ID. Okay, thank you very much.